Hari Om. In the previous video, we have discussed the introduction about properties. This video will cover another example and some of the expressions that can be used in properties, and a shortcut syntax that is used in properties will also be discussed in the video. This is another example program. Let us open the program. This is a program, and you can observe here I am using system, and the class is declared as a time period class, and I am having a private member in seconds. So the data stored as seconds is a private data which cannot be disclosed outside the class. Now to manage this data, what I have done, I have declared another public member which is a property, and I call it as hours, because we are human beings are used for hours rather than seconds. So what I have done, my program needs the data in seconds, but the users are more comfortable in giving data in hours. So what I have done here, I have declared a public property called as hours, which will be converting the seconds into hours for the easy use of data. So I have a get method, a getter and setter method. So get method will be simply returning seconds divided by 3600 will give you hours, and when you are passing hours, the hours will be, the value will be multiplied by 3600 so that the hours will be converted into seconds. This is how I have designed a public property called as hours, which will be managing the private data called seconds. So in my main program, what I have done, I have declared a object of time period class, and I am going to assign a value. I am going to assign a value to the public property, and you can observe here I am not using the getter method, I am not using the setter method here. I am using it as a data member itself. Simply assign a value to this particular data member. And if you want to access the data, so what happens, automatically this will be using the setter method, and 24 will be passed here in the value keyword, and 24 into 3600 will be stored in seconds. And if you want to get the value of this particular data, you can simply use t dot hours instead of saying t dot set get the value of the seconds, etc. Those methods are not required. You simply use it as you use a data field. Let us see the program again in another example. We will be seeing another example for to execute a program. And let us see how properties can be used for defining an expression also. Or I can put it this way, expressions can also be defined in a getter method. In a getter method I can use expression, or even in setter method also I can use some expressions. Say for example, if you have two private fields A and B, I am declaring a property, a public property called C, and I want to get the value. What is the value I am getting here? A plus B, which is not a single value. It is an expression that gives sum of A and B, which will be returned for C. And you can also observe here I use a set method, and the set method will be assigning a new value to both A and B. So let us see an example program again. This is an example program which we are going to discuss. Let me open it in the terminal. properties demo program. Sorry. Let me open the properties demo. Let me clear it now. Yeah, I will open the properties demo program. This is the program we were discussing, how to handle seconds using hours. Let me run and show you the program. Yeah, so what I have done, I have assigned 24 hours and I am getting 24 hours, but internally the data will be stored as seconds. Let us see another example. I am going to open my old example, new sample class. Okay, I am going to uncomment it. I am uncommenting it. You can observe here, I am declaring two variables A and B. I am having a public property called D, which is using an expression. Observe here, it is using an expression. So the public property D will be having value A into B as a returned value for the property. And you can also see here, when I set a value, the value is assigned to both A and B. So properties are not used only to manage a single value. If you have a set of private fields, all these private fields can also be managed by using a single property. It depends upon your application domain and it depends upon the situation, or it depends upon the purpose that you are going to do in your program. And you can observe here, let me again uncomment it. And uncommenting it, you can see how I am using the D value. I am simply saying sc.d. sc is a new object I have created for sample class. Sample class is the class name. I have created a new object for it and I am going to use sc.d. As you use your data field, it will be displaying the value of D. So what is the value of D actually? When I say D, it will invoke the get method and the get method will be returning the product of A and B. So product of A and B will be returned here. What is the value of A? Value of A is 250. Value of B is 1456. So these two values will be multiplied for D. Now what I have done, I have assigned a new value to D. So when I assign new value to D, it will be taking value 22 to this value keyword and 22 will be assigned for both A and B. So when you again say sc.d, it will be returning A into B. It will be returning A into B, which will be 22 into 22. So what happens now? 22 into 22 will be the output of this. So let us execute this program. Sorry, let me compile the program. And execute it. You can see here the first D value is 250 multiplied by 1456, whereas the new D value is, which we have set as 22. So 22 into 22 will be 484 is displayed here. So this is the purpose of properties. where expressions can also be defined in getter method especially, and in setter method one value can be used which will be assigned to more than one data variables. That is also allowed here. So expressions can be used in the getter method. Now it's a common property or it's a common practice to have properties that simply return immediately with the result of an expression. You need to return a value using a property, and you are not going to set a value for the data member. I repeat, for a data member, I am going to get the value and I am not going to set a new value to that particular data member. In those cases, I can use a shortcut syntax for defining these properties using the notation equal to greater than symbol. This is a shortcut syntax which is used for defining a property that is generally returns a value, and you are not going to set a new value to that particular data member. We will see an example here. Suppose, say for example, I have a private field like string first name and last name. These are the private fields of my class. I am going to define a property like this, public string, and I am going to define a property name, and I am using the shortcut syntax, and I return an expression. What is the expression? First name concatenated with your space and then a last name. Suppose if you have Amrita Mohandas, Amrita will be the first name value, Mohandas will be the last name value. So what I am going to do? I am going to return the name of the person as Amrita, one blank space, then Mohandas. So this kind of property, if you are using shortcut syntax, this property is read only and you do not require the get accessor keyword. Here get എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ള keyword I am not using. I am simply using this shortcut syntax here. Let us see another example. You are going to declare a person class with two properties, name and age, and both the properties are read write properties. It can be defined with private members as, I am going to define it. I define a class person. I am having a private member for name, another private member for age, and observe here I am using the variable name my name and my age, and I am declaring properties for them. For my name, I am declaring a property called name, which will use a get method and a set method. So your get method will be returning my name. Your set method will assign a new value to the variable my name. In the same way, I am declaring an age property, which is used for managing my age, that is a private variable. Again, you have a get method that returns a my age value, and you have a set method that will be assigning a new value to my age. So now this class is defined in this particular program. I am creating a new person object. I am creating a new person object here, and I am going to print the details of this particular person. I am not assigning any value here, I am just printing it, so it will be printing the default value. Now what is the default value assigned here? This is the default value. Member initialization, we have already discussed in member initialization. If you have instance variables, you can initialize it in the declaration itself. So this is the declaration. Here itself I am initializing them, which becomes the default values. So if you have not assigned any value, it is going to return NA for name, 0 for age. So what happens? This will be printing the default value. Now I am going to assign new values. For name, assigning a new value. For age, I am assigning a new value. Now if you see here, it will be printing the new values, like name will be AAA, age will be 99. And you can give an increment also to the age property. You can say person dot age is equal to person dot age plus 1. This is the shortcut operator. I can increment it, and if you print, it will be printing the updated value. What will be the updated value? Name will be AAA and age will be 100, 99 plus 1. So this is how the properties can be used as you use a simple data member. Let us discuss features of properties in the next video. Thank you.